What's up, everyone? It's Riven, and welcome back into More Dots Gaming. For some of you, Warlords of New York has finally graced us with its most awaited changes: new loot and gear 2.0. Yo, if you're on PC, you are probably farming the hours away. If you're on console, well, you gotta shoot a few short hours and you get your hands on all these pretty changes too. In this video, we are going over some of the changes with loot, gear 2.0, and all the new talents. This one might be a bit long, but I will timestamp everything so you can jump to the topics that are most relevant to you. If you find any of this useful, consider giving the video a thumbs up and sharing it out. It will help it get in front of others who might be questioning all the new changes and want to know more about it. Also, make sure you subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest videos I put out, plus all my live streams right here on YouTube. And stay tuned at the end to find out how to enter my giveaway for saying thanks to getting us to 300 subscribers, because you guys are so awesome, and I love you all. So let's jump right into this, starting with number one, with the loot changes. Loot had reduced overall loot drop quantity. Item power, quality, and quantity now scales more strongly with difficulty. The developer said this change is intended to make loot feel more meaningful. While you will see less loot drops overall, the quality of items you acquire will be higher, and you have the option to increase the quality by tackling harder challenges. So I have to say, I am all for this challenge. I absolutely enjoy looter shooters. I like chasing gear. I like going through trying to find the next best item that's going to be good for my gear. But when you're just chasing loot for the sake of chasing loot, things become not worthwhile and uninteresting. Kind of like listening to the same story from your grouchy coworker that he told you 6 times in that one day. Yeah, the game loses its luster pretty quick. With this change, we're going to see less useless loot and loot that'll be better overall. Maybe not to your build, but with the recalibration system, you'll be able to bank the stats you want for later use. And with the scaling of difficulty and raising the challenges, you will feel rewarded for the amount of time and effort put in, and that is extremely important as the gear itself. Gear 2.0. So we had a wide array of new weapons, brand, and gear sets, plus exotic and named items. So we have a bunch of things changing here. All weapons, gear mods have been reworked. All existing items, even if you're wearing them, have been converted into the new system. Gear has been converted to contain only the following attributes. And these attributes now are weapon damage, skill tier, which replaces skill power, armor, weapon handling, crit hit chance, crit hit damage, headshot damage, skill repair, skill haste, armor regeneration, hazard protection, health, explosive damage, and all brand bonuses have been reworked. Whew, I made it. With the reworks, Massive is hoping to ease the pain of the need to have a database of all different talents and numbers on your second screen to keep track of all your builds. Remember that crazy ass spreadsheet that we had on Reddit that kept all track of all our builds and gear and numbers and how crazy it was? I know it's very early in the process, but since everything has been worked and the amount of talents reduced to only be on the backpack, chest piece, and guns or weapons, we'll talk about it in a little bit, should be a bit more streamlined, and I'm excited to see all the builds that come from this new work. So when we hit level 40 and gear score 515, it's going to be awesome, because I cannot wait to see these builds that I was going to put out, because I really think that the big picture of things, gear and all the new talents and how everything's going to work together is going to work out very nicely, and the build to be pretty diverse. I'm looking forward to this. Move on to the mods, the gear sets, the exotics, and the skills. Starting off with mods, all mods have been reworked. Gear mods now provide one attribute. Mask, chest, and backpacks items can contain only one mod slot. Generic mods have been removed from the game completely. No generic BS. If it's not specific, it's gone. Gear sets, all gear sets have been worked, and one example of this is the True Patriot one, which was the full flag, not even the full flag, just the gear set bonus. If you didn't have a group, it was kind of useless for you to use solo because it didn't really affect you as the player. It affected everyone in your group. This now has actually been reworked. Now the True Patriot gear will let you to take advantage of the True Patriot gear set bonus, and it's actually pretty nice. If hopefully gear sets now, since it's been reworked, maybe we'll have a little bit of a beneficial to wear them over branded gear. So I'll have to see, but I'm hoping gear sets kind of make a jump into this and make a splash. Exotics, all exotic items and weapons have been worked as well. I know some people logged in and complained that exotics has been nerfed. They're not nerfed, they're just reworked. And once you get them at the higher max level, they'll be scaled to level 40 and gear score 515. So it's just everything got changed and reworked. So it's not a nerf, it's just, changing. I guess you could call it a nerf, but it's really not. Skills. All skills have been rebalanced. Skill power has been removed. I'm very excited about this change. Skill now automatically scales with the skill tier attribute. So if you're skill tier 6, your skills will automatically go up to skill tier 6. And skill mods now have no requirement to quit, which is very nice. And the fact that all this has been reworked, the mods, the gear sets, the exotics, and skills, this may actually change your build totally upon login, which is fine. Whether you have the expansion or not, since Gear 2.0 changes are for all players. And honestly, I'm seeing all these salty posts on Twitter, on Reddit, on YouTube. It's actually common for games like this, The Division or Grim Dawn or Path of Fucking Styles, to have builds ruined or completely reworked after a patch like this or expansion like this. Many RPGs go through this, and so do MMORPGs. It's just a cycle of these type of games. But with what I'm looking forward to, with the removal of skill power and no longer needing to meet requirements to equip mods, the build should be interesting to see. Now that many options have opened up for the player base to choose from because of these skills, we could probably see many different ways of building because you needed, you didn't go skill power. You couldn't use these specific mods on like the Seeker Mine or the Hive or the Drone or the Turret, whatever it might be. Now you have option to those. You can put whatever you want on and see how it's actually going to work out for you. So I think the big picture, guys, everyone's so focused on, it's only on the gear, the chest piece and the backpack and the weapons, but you're missing the bigger picture of skills now don't have requirements anymore, and for mods, and you can pretty much equip whatever mod you want to them, so you can pretty much play however you want now. So I'm thinking that's going to help diversity along with the build, and it won't be so confusing, because honestly, the patch before this patch, the gear was absolutely confusing, and having to run that spreadsheet, woof, I'm glad we're past that. Talents. As mentioned before, the talents are only on the backpack, the chest, and the weapons, and these have changed quite a bit. So let's take a look at these. We'll try to get through these as fast as we can. There's quite a bunch of them. So we'll start with the backpack DPS talents. First one up is combined arms. Shooting an enemy increases the total skill damage by 25% for 3 seconds. If you get a perfect combined arms, it's 30% skill damage. Energize. Using an armor kit grants +1 skill tier for 15 seconds. If already at skill tier 6, it grants overcharge. Tech support. Skill kills increase total skill damage to 25% for 20 seconds. Perfect tech support is 27 seconds. Calculated. Kills from cover reduce skill cooldown for 10 seconds. Shock and Awe. Applying a stat effect to an enemy increases total skill damage and repair by 20% for 20 seconds. If you get that perfect shock and awe, it's 27 seconds. Backpack heal and support. Safeguard. While at full armor, increases total skill repair by 100%. Overclock. You and your allies within 7 meters of your deployed skills gain +25 reload speed and reduces active cooldowns by 0.2 seconds each second. Backpack, Tank, and Bruiser. Blood Sucker. Killing an enemy adds and refreshes a stack of +10% bonus armor for 10 seconds. The max stack is 10. Leadership. Performing a cover-to-cover grants 12% of your armor as bonus armor to you and your allies for 10 seconds. This is doubled if you end within 10 meters of an enemy. That's nice. If you end up in 10 meters of an enemy, you get 24%. Cooldown is 10 seconds. And if you do some PvP, it's only 8% of your armor. Protector. When your shield is damaged, you gain +5%, and all other allies gain +15% of your armor as bonus armor for 3 seconds. The cooldown is 3 seconds. Weapon DPS. Vigilance. Increases the total weapon by 25%. Taking damage displays the buff for 4 seconds. Perfect Vigilance is 3 seconds. Those perfect rolls are pretty nice. Versatile. This one has a lot going on, guys. This one's got a ton of going on. So amplifies total weapon damage for 10 seconds when swapping between your primary and secondary weapons if they are different. So 35% to enemies within 15 meters for shotguns and SMGs. 35% to enemies further than 25 meters for rifles and marksman rifles. 10% to enemies between 15 to 25 meters for LMGs and assault rifles. At most, once per 5 seconds per weapon type. There's a lot going on here. I'm really interested to see how this talent's actually going to play out and work well. This one's really, I think, useful if you're a player who actually swaps between all your weapons. You're instead of reloading, you swap to it. As you're running, you swap to, you swap to like just different weapons. You're running in close, you swap out to your SMG or your shotgun instead of just sticking to one gun. So I think this is going to benefit playstyles where you like to use all your weapons. So I'm looking forward to see what type of builds come out from this if people actually use this. Opportunistic enemies, if you hit with the shotguns and marksman rifles, amplifies the damage they take by 10% from all sources for 5 seconds. Unstoppable force, killing an enemy increases total weapon damage by 5% for 15 seconds, stack up to 5 times. Companion, while you were within 5 meters of any skill, ally or skill, total weapon damage is increased by 15%. So I have an issue with skills or talents like Unstoppable Force because you always need to be killing an enemy. And if you get to the point where you're at a boss and there's no longer mobs coming or ads coming at you, this is a wasted talent, and you're no longer getting that damage. If you're in a group, Companion's nice too, because Companion's not bad because if you're in 5 meters of any ally or skill, you're getting 50% increased damage. So I would take, for me, I would probably take, in a group setting, as a boss, I would probably take Companion over Unstoppable Force. I'm not sure how I feel on Unstoppable Force. I think it'd be good for maybe open world, things like that. So I'm not sure how you feel that for endgame or whatever. Composure, while in cover, increased total weapon damage by 15%. So that's not bad either because you're always going to be in cover while you're fighting a boss or something. So you're always going to have that 15% damage. What I want to know is once I come out of cover, how long does this buff last on me before it actually deteriorates and goes away? Is it a 3 second, 5 seconds? Someone knows that. You can put it down in the comments below. Concussion, headshots increase total weapon damage by 10% for 1.5 seconds. If you use a marksman's rifle, it's 5 seconds with 10%. It's nice. So if you're a sniper, that's nice. Also with concussion, headshots kills additionally increase total weapon damage by 15% for 10 seconds. That's nice. That's nice. So status effects, creeping death. When you apply a status effect, it is also applied to all enemies within 5 meters of your target. The cooldown is 20 seconds. Nice little area of effect if you got a bunch of things going on. So you can apply different poisons or bleeds or whatever to other enemies. So that's nice. Wicked. Applying a status effect increases total weapon damage by 18% for 20 seconds. If you get a perfect Wicked, it's 27 seconds. Galvanize. Applying a blind, ensnare, confuse, or shock to an enemy grants 40% of your armor as bonus armor to you and your allies within 20 meters of that enemy for 10 seconds. That was a mouthful. PvP is 20%. Sustain. Clutch. If you are below 50% critical hits, repair 3% missing armor. Kills allow you to repair up to 100% of your armor for 4 to 10 seconds based on your weapon core attribute. I'll have to look into that more. Seems interesting, and it could actually work out very nicely, repairing your armor, and whatever, depending on what my core attribute is for that weapon. That's interesting. I'll see how that actually works. So perfect clutch is if you are below 20% armor instead of 15% armor. Some interesting talents right here between the chest and some of the weapon DPS. So looking forward to see how those build out and play. Let's move on to chest DPS. So we have the tag team. Last enemy you have damaged with a skill is marked. Dealing weapon damage to that enemy consumes the mark to reduce active cooldowns by 4 seconds. The cooldown is 4 seconds. Kinetic momentum. While in combat, each skill generates a stack while active or not on a cooldown. Stacks increase your total skill damage by 1% and total skill repair by 2%, up to 15 stacks per kill, lost when on cooldown. Skilled. If skill kills have a 25% chance to reset skill cooldowns. If no skills were on cooldown, you instead gain a one-time buff that immediately refreshes a skill's cooldown when it goes on cooldown. That's nice. That's actually really nice. I kind of like that a lot. Spotter amplifies total weapon damage and skill damage by 50% to pulsed enemies. Not bad. So if someone's playing with pulse, you're getting an extra 15% damage. So Not bad at all. Explosive delivery. Whenever you throw a skill, 1.5 seconds after landing, it creates an explosive damaging enemy within 5 meters. Damage scales with skill tier dealing 25 to 100% damage of a concussion grenade, at most once per skill. Remote pulse all turrets, all hive, explosive seekers, cluster seeker, mender seeker, decoy, and all traps. So almost everything that you have pretty much works. Actually, I don't see drone up there, so obviously that wouldn't work. But that's pretty cool. I like that. Right away, it's gonna explode on the enemy and do a good amount of damage. So not too bad. That's cool. Chest heal and support. So the empathetic repairing an ally increases their total weapon damage and skill damage by 3 to 15% for 10 seconds. 1 to 7% if yourself. So that's nice. That if you heal yourself as well, you are getting 1%, 1 to 7% of your total weapon and skill damage. So not bad for 10 seconds. Effectiveness is increased by your skill tier. So the higher the skill tier, the more effective it's going to be. Overwatch. After staying in cover for 10 seconds, increase your and allies' total weapon and skill damage by 12% as long as you remain in cover or in cover to cover move. Perfect Overwatch is 8 seconds. Nice. That's not bad. If you are playing tactically, this is actually a really nice ability, and for your allies as well. So total weapon damage and skill damage. It's not bad. I like that. Chest, tank, and bruiser. We have Intimidate. While you have bonus armor, amplifies total weapon damage by 35% to enemies with 10 meters. Perfect Intimidate is 40%. Not bad. It's amplified 40%. Why you have bonus armor? I'm seeing some synergy here. Unbreakable. When your armor is depleted, repair 95% of your armor. Has a cooldown of 60 seconds. Perfect Unbreakable is 100% of your armor for a 55-second cooldown. If you're in PvP using this, it is 50% for 60 seconds, and Unbreakable Perfect PvP is 55% for 55 seconds. So it's nice for PvP. PvP is completely a whole different beast, so I like that they have different templates for it. Vanguard, deploying a shield makes it invulnerable for 5 seconds and grants 45% of your armor bonus as bonus armor to all other allies for 20 seconds. The cooldown is 25 seconds. The perfect Vanguard is 50%. If you're in PvP, it's 20%, and perfect Vanguard in PvP is 25%. Protected Reload grants plus 20% bonus armor while reloading. It will also grant 0 to 18% of your armor as bonus armor to other allies when they are reloading, based on your defense core attribute. Very nice. PvP is 15%, and it's 0 to 12% for your allies. That 0 kind of sucks. So, hey, by the way, you're reloading, but you're not getting anything. All right, weapon DPS. Glass cannon. All damage you deal is amplified by 25%. All damage you take is amplified by 50%. If it's a perfect glass cannon, it's 30%, 60%. This is crazy for like Berserker build. That's pretty cool. Gunslinger. Weapon swapping increases total weapon damage by 20% for 5 seconds. This buff is lost for 5 seconds if you swap weapons while active. So, weapon swapping increases your total weapon damage by 25%. Okay, so if you swap it out and then you swap it again, you're losing that buff for 5 seconds. So pretty much it's a wash. Focus increases total weapon damage by 5% every second you are aiming, while scoped 8% or higher up to 50%. Wow. Perfect focus is 6 to 60%. Braced. While in cover, weapon handling is increased by 45%. Perfect brace is 50%. So this again, where you're in cover, as soon as you come out of cover and start firing, is it as you fire that it's 45% and then it loses it after you use it, or does it have like a 3-second cooldown? So those are some things I would like to know. So if anyone has any information on brace, and just let me know in the comments below. Spark. Damaging an enemy with skill increases total weapon damage by 50% for 15 seconds. Perfect Spark is 20 seconds. Last but probably not least is Obliterate. Critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 5 seconds. It stacks up to 15 times. It's one of the things that are, if you don't have a high crit damage, it's really not going to be worthwhile to have. But I think overall, if you're running a high crit build, something like Obliterate would be really, really nice. So overall, guys, I feel like the gear changes. There's a ton of them. It's nuts. With much more discussed as we get further into Division 2 and the builds. And I honestly, I keep saying I can't wait to see the glorious builds that everyone builds. So guys, I hope you get out there, farm your hearts out, and start thinking about how you want to play, because this is just going to be awesome and amazing. I'm really excited to see where the Division 2 goes now that Warlords of New York is out there. And no, I didn't forget about the giveaway. Must be subscribed, and you have to comment on the video for a chance to win. Up for grabs is a copy of Division 2 Warlords of New York. I got a Division hoodie and a Mordaunt's Gaming mug. This is just one of the many ways I want to be able to say thank you for helping us reach 300 subscribers and counting. The winner will be selected on 3/22/2020 this month and this year, just in case you weren't sure. So thank you all for checking out this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will talk to you all soon. Peace out, agents.